to see the witnesses, and it's really good to be having this hearing because we want every American to be able to save for a dignified retirement, and that's really what this is all about. And I really look forward to continuing to work with all of my colleagues to do that. I have a couple of questions. I'll start with you, Ms. Robinson, because one of the things I've been focused on is military spouses and their capacity to save, because they often face a wide gap in terms of retirement because they move locations more frequently, so they don't always stay long enough in one job to become eligible for employer-sponsored retirement plans, and that obviously means they have less employer matches for retirement savings. So Senator Collins and I have a bill to help address this issue by incentivizing employers to make military spouses immediately eligible for retirement plan participation, including employer contributions. So, Ms. Robinson, do you believe that providing employer incentives would help military spouses save for more retirement?
Of course, all incentives help employees save for retirement, so we absolutely support that and thank your work. We haven't taken a position on this. I would have to take it back to our membership, but obviously our member companies are at the forefront of offering retirement plans, believe it's an important thing. So very happy to work with you to make sure administratively it's feasible and that whatever we do put in place is actually helpful to the spouses as they are moving from job to job.
Yes, I appreciate that very much. It's something that we've seen a lot of action on in a variety of different ways because military spouses, face such unique situations. So thank you for being willing to take it back to your membership. I also wanted to talk generally to all of you about the issue of retirement savings for women because women often struggle to save enough for retirement. They lag behind men due to a number of factors, including lower earnings and more time away from the workplace because they are primarily caregivers in a lot of circumstances. So the pandemic exacerbated many of these issues with nearly 1.8 million women leaving the workforce. So to each of you, how can Congress help address the retirement gap for women, especially as the country recovers from COVID-19? And we'll start with Treasurer Reed and then just move right down.
Mr. Chair, Senator Hassan, I think it's an excellent observation. The work that we're doing in our state continues to be about making it easier for people to get started at an earlier age and establish that habit. The power, I think, of our example is not going to become fully realized until someone who starts maybe without realizing it earlier in their career gets to the point that that has become a habit and moves on. I think that's especially true for women and people of color who don't tend to have that access through their employer. So auto enrollment, escalation, the credit that Senator Wyden and others have offered, I think those are all really important elements.
Well, thank you. Mr. Sertner?
Thank you. I think you make a very clear observation about women lagging behind, obviously for a number of reasons, including lower wages and less access to retirement plans, more part-timers. We're very strongly supportive of improving coverage for part-time workers. We know that's particularly helpful to women who are caregivers. We're generally very supportive of trying to improve access in general because women tend to be in workplaces that don't have any coverage. So if we can't get employer-provided coverage, that's where we need those state kinds of programs that we're doing in Oregon that will help people get access to a plan and a payroll deduction plan they don't have now. Again, we're talking about people who are generally lower income, so you need that additional, I think, incentive for them to also contribute. So improving on the Savers Credit, which is really a matching contribution at the federal level, will help both encourage people to contribute to a plan, but not only that, will obviously increase the size of the contribution amounts going to the plan. So I think a combination of those things can all help improve coverage and adequacy.
Thank you. Mr. Graff?
Thank you, Senator Hassan. The issue that you raised is extremely important, and in particular, what the data shows is that the coverage gap and the savings gap is particularly acute for single women. And very similar challenges with communities of color that we've been discussing today. And what we found, and I'm happy to share this data with you, is that when you overlay proposals like the Auto IRA Act, the Encouraging Americans to Save Act, and steps to both get people covered, single women covered, as well as incentivize them to save, that you see really great boosts in savings rates among single females that I can show you. It's very promising.
Well, great. And if it's all right with the chair, Ms. Robinson, if you can quickly comment.
Sure. Representing plan sponsors who have already kind of tackled the coverage issue, I'll talk about increasing retirement savings. The increasing catch-up contributions is enormously helpful for women who may not have had the money earlier in their careers, later in their careers, to put more of that into that. And we would actually encourage even expanding that for other opportunities, such as being able to do make-up catch-up contributions if you had to take time off during your career. So in addition to the other things that have been mentioned, such as the student loan matching and the emergency savings provisions that obviously impact more than just women, but probably women in particular.
Well, thank you very much. And Mr. Chair, as we celebrate the 31st anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act this week, I also just want to recognize how important ABLE accounts have been to people with disabilities and look forward. And I know Treasurer Reed has been particularly involved in administering those accounts, so I'd look forward to continuing to strengthen them as well.
Well, thank you, Senator